All right, everyone, we will start with senior linebacker Aiden Fisher. If you have a question for Aiden, get your hand raised, and we'll go about 10 minutes with each person. So, Pete, why don't you kick us off, and then we'll go to
Recording
Jim
in
Coyle.
progress.
Okay. Hey, Aiden, I was curious. Coach Haynes is known for his innovative blitzes and schemes. Do you contribute to that? Do you come up with some innovative blitzes and schemes? Do you live on your own? And just how much fun is it to mess with offenses like you do?
Yeah, I mean, Coach Haynes does a great job. Extremely innovative, extremely smart. Most of it he does on his own, and then he'll kind of bring in and we'll pitch a couple ideas here and there, but most of it he's the mastermind behind it. And yeah, it's fun to play in a defense where, especially playing linebacker. I mean, you can really do anything. You could be in man coverage, zone coverage, you blitz, you're in run fits. You really do it all. So, and it helps our defense with the diversity where we could show a blitz and we're not coming. We can show a blitz and we are coming. And I think for an offensive line and a quarterback especially, that really messes with your head and kind of throws a lot of protections off. Quarterback doesn't really know what coverage we're in, so it's a lot of things that we do to get a step ahead scheme wise, and I think it's obviously been paying off for us.
Thank you.
All right, we'll go to Jim Coyle and then Mike.
Aiden, thank you for your time. And I know the word fits is different than the concept we're using in here, but you guys do nothing but give offenses fits each week, it seems like, and you're changing everything. How difficult is it to adjust your defense to these variable different offenses? You're going to go from planning for Alabama to now Oregon, which is a very, very different and more prolific offense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Hey there, folks. Good afternoon. Thanks for joining me here on Wave Now. I'm Myra Sorry, we're going live to a press conference.
Good.
That was TV station, I think.
Yeah, for us, the earlier in the week, it's a lot of mental gymnastics, kind of getting things figured out and sorted out with adjustments and, how are you going to handle different things from different offenses. But, yeah, like you said, these offenses aren't very similar. We've seen Oregon once, but, they've improved drastically. Their O-line is playing at a high level, quarterback, receivers, tight ends, running backs. Everybody's playing really well right now. So we definitely have a challenge on our hands. But, like you said, when you have Coach Haynes who's manipulating things so much, we're changing a defense, week in and week out. It's a lot of mental stuff early in the week, but by the end of the week, we all feel, calm and confident with it. And he does a great job teaching, and I think all of our coaches do a great job teaching it instead of just, coaching it. This is how you're going to do it, one way. It's why are we doing it, how are we going to do it, and what are the multiple ways that you can get to your ultimate job description. I think that's what kind of makes it a little bit easier when we're doing so much mental stuff.
We'll go Mike and then Zach.
Which Mike?
Mike Nizelek.
I think I'm just making sure. Aiden, you guys have played obviously some rosters with a lot of high level talent. Ohio State, Alabama, Oregon's one of them. What separates Oregon from those other two? What do they do well? What's their strengths versus kind of Ohio State and Alabama?
Yeah, Oregon's an explosive offense, one that'll hurt you quick if you're not, on your P's and Q's. Obviously it starts with the quarterback who's, one of the best in the country. Great player, smart, makes his reads quick, gets the ball out quick. He just does a great job. I mean, every facet of, being a quarterback in that system. O-line, big, they're strong, they're physical, they move well, especially in space. Their O-line's great. Obviously the tight ends and receivers, running backs too. They have guys that are going to play on Sundays in every spot. So, it's a big challenge for us. They're really good when they get vertical. They're really good in the run game. Quick game. The quarterback does a great job with his eyes, reading coverages. And the running backs run hard. They're not easy to bring down with one guy. So we definitely have our work cut out for us. But, it's something that I think is more about us and making sure we're doing the things that make us a special team in a defense than it is about, being worried about the other team. They're a great team, but I think if we're on, high alert for all of these things, we'll be better prepared and better going into it Friday.
All right, we'll go Zach O and then Adam.
Aiden, I was asking about Daniel Ndukwe, and you've, I imagine, been at some point in Coach Haynes' defense in the position he is where Coach Haynes kind of turns to you and says, we need you, this is your opportunity, we need you to step up. How have you seen him sort of embraced that experience? I know he's been in the program a couple of years. It's not like he's brand new to all this, but how have you seen him these last couple games you've been preparing for really sort of embrace the idea of, hey, I know it's my time now. My team needs me, and maybe I'm going to add a little bit extra, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, when your opportunity arises, you got to take advantage of it, and I think he's doing a great job. You could tell his maturity from last year to this year has really changed. He's not just a guy that's going to be there in case we need him. He was a guy that was going to get valuable snaps this year. Obviously now it's going to be more than ever. And he's done a great job. Physically he's cut out for the spot. There's no question about it. That spot has a lot of things that you have to think about in the mental games of it, but he's done a great job. For us as linebackers, we have to do a great job communicating with him, knowing he's a little bit of a younger guy, but I mean, he's got this defense down, to a T, and he's been doing a great job. He does everything we ask of him. He does that at a high level. So his opportunity arose. He took advantage of it last week. We just need him to keep doing that. But he's doing a great job. We have all the confidence in the world in him. We're happy with having him in that spot. I think he's done a great job, and we're confident in him.
We'll go to Adam Rittenberg and then Zach B.
Yeah, Aiden, thanks for your time. I'm just curious, the other teams in the playoff obviously have lost games, and they're kind of drawing on those experiences as they prepare, including Oregon. You've already had a team that's avenged a loss earlier in Ole Miss. As a team that obviously hasn't lost any games, what do you guys draw upon to sort of motivate you? Or, hey, if we do this, we might lose a game. We got to be better this time around, even though you haven't actually lost a game as a team.
Yeah, I mean, we have the same motivation as they do. We didn't play a clean game. We didn't play our best game. So all the mindset stuff that they have, we have the same thing. We didn't play a clean game. We left a lot of plays out there. We felt like we just didn't play at a high level for that game. So as much as, the mental games that it can play on, either team, we have just as much motivation, if not more, to, really prove ourselves again. Like, we have so much more to prove, to play a cleaner football game. And to really, prove ourselves. We do that week in and week out. We have an opportunity to go out there and prove ourselves. We got to take advantage of it. And I think, we have a great opportunity this week. We just have to, clean up a lot of things from week 1 to week 14. Take those, learn from them, move forward. But, we're excited for it. And, we have a lot to prove this weekend.
Aiden, when you prep, am I good, Greg?
Yeah, go ahead, Zach. Then we'll go to Daniel.
When you prep, Aiden, and scout for a team a second go around in the same season, what does that prep look like? How does it differentiate, and how much stock do you put into the first meeting between you two?
To me, this is a whole new team. I think both sides are a whole new team. They've improved drastically. Their O-line, especially, and their quarterback, are playing at an extremely high level. They've had new guys emerge at receiver spots, and everybody's playing at a high level. So for me, I'm scouting a whole new team. Schematically, yeah, there are some things that will carry over a little bit. But for me, I have to treat it like a whole new game, a whole new team. Because, we're in a different spot than we were. We were playing them in, I think it was week 6 or week 5. So to me, it's, two teams seeing each other for the first time in my mind. You treat it like that. You prepare for it like that. And none of it's going to be, I can use my old preparation for this one. That'll get you hurt. And, they'll scheme things up where you can't do that. So for me, it's a whole new team. My preparation's all new. And I think I can speak for a lot of guys with that, our coaches too. We're treating it like, it's the biggest game of the year because it's the next one, and you got to prepare for it like that.
All right, we'll go to Daniel and then Mike S.
Yeah, and the win in Austin, after that win, was there kind of like a sense you felt that maybe the viewpoint around you guys had changed? Like, okay, like this is a legit team?
I think maybe for people outside of this facility, nobody in here was, taken off guard or shocked by it. Each week it's, just another opportunity to go out there and prove that we belong. And I think that was, obviously at that point in our season, it was the biggest opportunity to have. And I think we took advantage of it. But, I don't really want to pay any mind to that game. It's all focused on this one. And, we have to go out there and prove it again. So as much as, our fans and, the atmosphere around Indiana has loved that experience to go out there and do that, it doesn't mean anything to us now. This is way more important and, a game that we have to be focused on 100%.
All right, last one for Aiden. We'll go to Mike S.
Sorry, Aiden. I had another question about that last game. I know you just said you didn't want to talk about it, but it was more like, at some point during the season, Coach Sig said, the games last year, Ohio State, Notre Dame, maybe the moments were too big. I was just curious, like, when you guys did go out there and win, was there any like effect on the psyche of the team? Like, hey, man, if we're prepared, if we execute, we now know the moment will never be too big. If we do our job, we can beat anybody.
Yeah, I think two things for that. I remember going into that game, Coach Sig said we needed more dogs on our team. Compared to last year, just going into those big games. And, I think we got them now. So that's not going to be the problem. And then for us, I don't want to say it was ever thinking is a moment too big for us. I think Coach Sig said it great. People say that because our logo is an I and a U, and it's Indiana. But that's just not how we think. I know for me personally, when we go into a game with the preparation that we have, the players we have, and the confidence we have in ourselves, no matter when and what's happening in the game, we're going to find a way to overcome it. We're going to find a way to win the game, and it's just about you keep chipping away, and at some point it'll break. You kind of break free as a team, but I think us this year, there's been no underdog mentality. I know people have referenced the misfits. I think when you look at where people come from, yes, but as a team, we don't feel like that. We're right where we belong, and I don't think anybody's going into any game with underdog or even a slight chance of doubt with any game. It's full preparation, full confidence going into each game, and kind of hitting the ground running.
Great, thanks, Aiden.